Hi guys, so we are rationalizing these problems here by dividing them up. So this fraction here, for example, x over square root of 5 minus square root of 2. So we want to divide them up, but we want to rationalize. So what do we have at the bottom of the fraction? So to rationalize just means that at the end, as a solution, we do not want to have radicals there. And in this case, we have two terms here. So how do we get rid of that, the radicals? Because we have two terms here, so what we're going to do is to multiply both and top. So we're going to make up a fraction, and then we're going to multiply both and the top by what we call the conjugate of what we already have. So another concept here is what we call the conjugate, okay? So conjugate, for lack of space, I'm putting it here. Sorry about that, okay? So to conjugate, so that means you're taking the same expression here, and then you change the sign in the middle to the opposite, okay? So if this is negative, that becomes a positive. That's what we call the conjugate of this expression here, all right? So now we just have to multiply and see what we're going to get. So x here cannot go under the radical, so it's going to be x times square root of 5 plus square root of 2. That you don't need to expand it. You don't need to distribute it, okay? Because it's just going to give you x square root of 5 plus x square root of 2. What are you going to do with it, okay? Pretty much nothing. So, but in this case here, ladies and gentlemen, so here now we have the difference of two squares, okay? So you have minus here, and then have plus here, okay? So we have not the difference two squares, we have the conjugate here. So this one is negative, one is positive. Be careful with the words. So we have the conjugate here, so we can multiply square root of, times square root of 5 times square root of 5, square root of 5 times square root of 2. So that's like the FOIL method that we did in another video for the product of two expressions. Okay, everybody good? All right, so in these cases, we have a faster way also to get to the answer, but we're going to reserve that and then use it for the second question there. But for this one, let's go one at a time, okay? So we understand what we're doing again. So this is square root of 5 times square root of 5. That will give us square root of 25, all right? And then square root of 5 times square root of 2. That will give us what? Square root of 10 plus. And then negative square root of 2 times positive square root of 5 is going to give us negative square root of 10. And then negative square root of 2 times positive square root of 2 is going to give us negative square root of 5. And then what's going to happen? We see that in the middle, both of them carry the same term, but different signs, so we can cross them out. So we end up with x square root of 5 plus square root of 2 on the top over, ladies and gentlemen, what is square root of 25? It is 5. Minus what is square root of 4? It is 2. So you end up with x square root of 5 plus square root of 2 over 3. All right? This is what we end up with. Okay? So now when we take the second question here, so we have square root of 5 over square root of 5 plus square root of 2x. Same thing we're going to have to rationalize because at the end, like we said, like we got here, no radical anymore, no square root at the bottom anymore. That's the reason why we're doing rationalization, okay? So to rationalize, what's happening is that here we have to multiply top and bottom by square root of 5 minus the square root of 2x, right? So that's the conjugate, okay? So that's what we call the conjugate of this expression is by multiplying by the same thing, but with a different sign in the middle. But you make up the fraction with the same thing. The reason why you can afford to do that is because once you simplify this fraction, you get your original problem back. You see that? If you eliminate this part, you take this one out, you have this one left. Okay? So let's go at it. So again over here, you can decide to multiply the square root because this one is square root. You can multiply inside if you want to. Okay? So that would give us what? Square root of 5x. But in this case, we say we couldn't because the x doesn't have the radical. Okay? So here we can do that. And then square root of x times negative square root of 2x, that would give us 2x squared under the radical. Okay? So we use the distributive principle here. Same thing here at the bottom, like we did here. Same thing we're going to do at the bottom here. So that would give us what? Square root of 5 times square root of 5 is square root of 25. First one. And then second one, square root of 5 times negative square root of 2x, that would give us what? Negative square root of 10x. Okay? And then this one here is going to give us positive square root of 10x. And then, last but not least, that will give us negative 4x squared under the radical. Negative square root of 4x squared. And with that, we need to simplify now. Anything that we can't simplify, that means what? Here we cannot simplify anything, but this one here, x squared, can come out. So that will give us square root of 5x minus x square root of 2 over, all right, square root of 25 is 5. And these two also we cross out like how we did before. And then minus 2x. Square root of 4 is 2. Square root of x squared is x. Anything else that we can simplify? No. Negative x square root of 2 is not the same thing as negative 2x here. They are not the same thing. So you cannot simplify. So this, ladies and gentlemen, will be your final answer for this problem here also. All right? So you always get back, take your problems, take a look at them again, do it. And then by the time you finish with this problem that we do, you should be ready for at least the fundamentals. You're going to have a very solid foundation when it comes to radicals. All right?